You know that feeling, right? You're staring at this giant spreadsheet, and you just know the answers are hiding in there somewhere, but you have no idea how to find them. Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on Excel and show you a super simple three-step journey that's going to unlock its true power.
Okay, first, let's just wrap our heads around this number, 750 million. That's how many people use Excel. It's not just some program. It's basically the language of business, of finance, of data, pretty much everywhere on the planet. And its influence? It's massive. Think about it. A staggering 90% of all business decisions are powered in some way by Excel. It's not just a tool. It's really the engine room for how modern business gets done.
So that begs the big question, doesn't it? If so many of us are using it for such critical stuff, how many are actually tapping into what it can really do? Are we all just driving a supercar but stuck in first gear? Well, the numbers tell a pretty clear story. There is a huge skills gap. While almost everyone has opened Excel, only about 10% of users can confidently build a pivot table. And that one skill, that's often the line between a casual user and a real pro. But here's the good news. Closing that gap isn't about memorizing hundreds of complicated functions. Nope. It's about following a simple, clear path. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through right now. This whole journey really just boils down to these 3 steps. It's that simple. First, we get the basics down so our work looks clean and professional. Second, and this is crucial, we learn how to structure our data the right way. And finally, we use that structure to do some seriously powerful analysis. See, it's a logical path, and each step builds right on top of the last one. So, let's dive into step 1. We're going from mess to masterpiece. This is all about the fundamentals of formatting. I know, it might sound a little basic, but trust me, this is the foundation for everything else. It's the difference between a spreadsheet that gives people a headache and one that delivers a clear, professional report. And this says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got data that's just a mess. It's hard to read, it looks sloppy, but on the right, with just a few simple formatting tweaks, that exact same data is suddenly clear, organized, and super easy to understand at a glance. This isn't just about looking pretty, it's about communicating effectively. So these are the key skills you need. Things like using consistent fonts and colors to guide the eye, using wrap text to keep your cells from looking crazy, and my personal favorite, the format painter. It's like a magic wand for making everything look consistent. A little pro tip here, be intentional with color. A simple gray for headers and a subtle blue for totals works way better than a chaotic rainbow. Master these, and you've got a rock-solid foundation. Okay, on to what I honestly think is the most important step of all. This is the real secret that separates the pros from everyone else. Structuring your data for success. This is where we stop thinking about what looks good to us and start thinking about what's easy for the computer to read. And this right here, this is the golden rule. Seriously, if you only take one thing away from this step, make it this. One single piece of information per cell. If you have Paris, France mashed together, Excel has no idea how to sort or filter by just the country. The moment you separate them, you unlock all of its analytical power. Think of it like this. You literally have to teach Excel how to read your data. When you set up a clean, consistent structure, clear columns, no empty rows, no weird merged cells, you're giving the computer a perfect map to understand exactly what it's looking at. And you know the absolute easiest way to do all of this? The Format as Table feature. It's a total game changer. With just one click, you instantly get easy-to-read banded rows, filters to sort your data, and headers that stay put when you scroll. It's amazing. And that brings us to the big payoff. Once your data is clean and once it's beautifully structured, you are ready for step 3, unlocking powerful insights. This is where the real magic happens, where you start getting answers from your data in seconds. The key, the secret weapon here is the pivot table. Now, don't let that name scare you. It's really just a simple tool that lets you summarize massive amounts of data without writing a single formula. You just drag, drop, and rearrange things to see your data from any angle you can imagine. So picture this. It's a common scenario, right? You've got thousands and thousands of rows of sales data, and your boss comes over and asks for the total sales for each country. How do you even start? Well, the old way would be to write these really painful, complicated sum-if formulas for every single country. It's slow, and it's so easy to make a mistake. But with a pivot table,
You can get that same answer in, I'm not kidding, like 3 clicks.
And boom, there's the result. Just look at how clean and simple that is. The pivot table instantly went through all that data, grouped every transaction by country, and added up the sales. No formulas, no headaches, just a perfect instant answer. And that's the power you've just unlocked. Once your data is structured the right way, a pivot table lets you ask almost any question you can think of. What are our top-selling products in Germany? Who are our top 5 customers in France? The answers are just a few clicks away. So let's just do a quick recap of this journey. It's a simple but incredibly powerful process. You start by cleaning up and formatting your data so it's clear. Then you structure it in a proper logical table. And finally, you unleash the awesome power of pivot tables to analyze it. You see, every spreadsheet, every single dataset you work with, it's telling a story. And by following these 3 steps, you're not just organizing numbers anymore. You're learning how to listen to that story and find the crucial insights hidden inside. So the only question left is, are you ready to start listening?